In this unit, we're going to cover motor vehicle excise tax and gross receipts tax, and then I'm going to show you how to do your gross receipts tax returns. New Mexico motor vehicle excise tax. I want to give you a quick overview or reminder that motor vehicle excise tax, obviously every dealer in the state needs to be aware of this since most customers will be paying motor vehicle excise tax on the vehicles you sell, and they might have questions regarding the tax that they're paying. Motor vehicle excise tax applies to the sale of every motor vehicle that must be registered in the state of New Mexico. And New Mexico assumes that every time a vehicle is sold, that a sale has occurred and the motor vehicle excise tax will be due. The tax is 4% of the price paid for any vehicle, less any trade-in. For non-dealer sales, however, NADA value is used to declare the purchase price of the vehicle if it's lower than 80% of NADA value on your average trade-in or wholesale value. If the vehicle is legitimately transferred by gift, then there is no sale and no excise tax would be due. Any applicant for a vehicle title who claims the vehicle was received by gift must submit a notarized affidavit of gift. That form is MVD 10018, in which both the donor and recipient would affirm that under oath. So payment is due at the time the buyer applies for the certificate of title. You might want to remind your customers there is a penalty when they don't register the vehicle they purchased from you in a timely manner. A penalty of 50% of the motor vehicle excise tax can be imposed on any person that lives in the state and accepts a vehicle for transfer and fails to register within 90 days, or if they fail to bring the title of certificate into the state of New Mexico within 90 days as well. So, that 50% add-on penalty does have the effect of increasing that tax rate extremely in a quick process. So I just want you to be aware, in case your customer wants to know, 25% of that tax goes to the local government's road fund and the remainder goes to the highway infrastructure fund. So always remember, you are a huge tax generator from the state. The more successful you are, the more motor vehicle excise tax that you bring in for the state. A lot of that goes to local roads, and then a lot of it goes to the state highway infrastructure fund as well. So if a person is a bona fide resident of New Mexico who served in the armed forces in the United States or who suffered while serving in forces from some type of service caused the loss or complete loss of any legs or both arms or anything like that, they would also have an exemption from that sales tax. I want to show you how to file gross receipts tax, and this is going to be required for any business that reports gross receipts or withholding or any type of compensation tax. So dealers must maintain registration with taxation and revenue, and you're going to be encouraged to file this electronically. This is very important for any business owner, not just if you own a dealership, but if you start any other business, you'll definitely need to be aware of this. So there are now 4 separate accounts in TAP that are used to file different types of gross receipts tax. There's the governmental gross receipts, there's the leased vehicle gross receipts, and leased vehicle surcharge. There's interstate telecommunications and gross receipts tax. Taxpayers are only required to file the return that applies to them. So for dealers, you as a dealer, you're only going to be filing the gross receipts tax return. So unless you're a new motor vehicle dealer leasing vehicles. I do want you to be very aware of this important information. Businesses that average more than $200 per month are required to file monthly reports every month before the 25th of the month following the period that's being reported. So you want to make sure and file in a timely basis. So what that means, you want to make sure and file the reports for before the 25th of the month. However, if you're not selling parts and things like that, you'll be able to do this semi-annually, which I'm going to show you here in just a little bit. Licensed dealers always need to realize that dealers are exempt from paying gross receipts tax and therefore can choose to file either monthly, quarterly, or semi-annually. So once again, I want to repeat that very, very important information. Dealers are exempt from paying gross receipts tax and therefore can choose to file either monthly, quarterly, or semi-annually. And I'm assuming if you're not selling parts and tires, if you're just selling motor vehicles, then you can actually do this semi-annually. So you're going to be reporting all zeros for gross receipts tax. And I want to repeat that very, very important information. Since dealers are exempt from paying gross receipts if you're not selling parts and things like that, you can either file monthly, quarterly, or semi-annually. A dealer may choose to file semi-annually, and you're going to be reporting all zeros. So this will apply to you if you're only selling motor vehicles and not selling any type of parts. On this screen, you're going to see the filing dates for the state of New Mexico's businesses. And if you are not selling any type of parts or products that require you to collect sales tax, dealers can choose to file semi-annually, as you see here. So your January 1st to June 30th due date would be July 25th, and your July 1st to December 31st filing date would be January 25th of the following year. However, if you are, say, for example, selling tires and batteries and parts for cars and things like that, then you would either file quarterly or more than likely you would be filing monthly. Let's do a quick review of the state's taxpayer access point. Remember, that's TAP. And you should be able to easily log right back into your TAP account. If you've got cookies in your browser, then it should have your username and password. Remember, this is the same site where you got your New Mexico tax ID here in just a little bit. And this is what your TAP page homepage looks. Remember, we saw this just a little bit ago. And remember, your tax ID number would be at the very top of the screen there. Whenever you're on your account, I'm always going to recommend that you click the Action Center to see if you have any messages from the Taxation and Revenue Department, so you can view very important messages from TRD. You can also click on the Settings tab to view or make changes. And if you want to view your account in full, you can click on the More tab to manage your access. And as you can see right here, on the More tab, you can view messages from TRD. You can click on the Letters tab to view any letters that you might have received from TRD. And you can click on the Payments and Returns tab to view any payments and returns. You can click on Names and Addresses to update your account. And you'll also easily be able to view your previous submissions to TRD. And if you do click on Messages, as you see right here, you can see all the filing submissions on this page. And you can even archive those messages by clicking the Archive button at the right. And I do suggest this once in a while, so you'll always see the most current messages on the screen. You can scroll down and register a new account or easily upload your tax information later on, such as W-2s or 1099s and things like that. You can file your gross receipts via mail, but TRD always prefers that you file electronically. And if your tax liability is less than $1,000, then you can file via mail. But in most scenarios, I think the easiest way to do everything when you're running your new dealership is to do everything that you can online. And that way you can get confirmation receipts, especially when you're filing these returns. And when you print up your confirmation receipt, that will always prove that you have filed your return. I want to give you this phone number a couple of times here during the course, 505-827-0700. That is the main phone number for TRD, and you can give them a call at any time, and they will probably answer that on the first ring, because if you have questions about revenue for the state, they're going to have answers for you. However, I do want you to be aware, as you see right here, if your liability is more than $1,000, then you have to file electronically. So give them a call if you have any questions, 505-827-0700. At the TAP website, you can log in and be sure to use that, save that password and username in a secure place, so you'll always have that handy, just in case it does not auto-populate. So let's go ahead and file that return. And you can review this page, and then you'll just click the Next button. You're always going to make sure that all of your information is true and correct, including your federal tax ID number and your state tax ID number, your phone number, and your email and things like that. On this screen, you're going to be asked if you have any gross receipts to report. And if you've only sold motor vehicles, have not sold any car parts or batteries and things like that, you can just go ahead and click on the No button and go Next, okay? Then you'll just see an overview of the page like this, showing a summary of any gross receipts that you've collected. And this screen shows that you've collected 0 if you're only selling motor vehicles in this scenario and not any parts. You'll just see some zeros on your screen there. And you would need to agree to the terms and conditions that everything is correct. And it says right here, you declare under penalty of perjury that all statements and information are correct. Then you would just click the Submit button, and you have filed your gross receipts. And now it's pretty easy, but you need to make sure that you do that twice a year. That is a requirement if you're not selling any type of parts. If you're only selling motor vehicles, you must file your gross receipts returns at least twice a year. Now, I want to do things a little bit differently. I want to show you how to pay any taxes that you might owe to TRD. So let's say, for example, you sold a car battery or a set of tires or something like that. So in that case, we're going to do things a little bit differently. So when you're asked if you have any gross receipts to report, instead of clicking the No, like we did just a moment ago, you're going to click Yes. and then you're going to select your location. So let's say, for example, your dealership is located in Albuquerque. You would select your location. Then you'll click directly on the blue Albuquerque link, as you see right here, or wherever your dealership is located. Don't forget, you must click the blue link that identifies the location of your dealer's license. Then on the next page, you're going to state whether or not you've had any business credits to a claim. And now you're going to see a screen that shows the gross receipts details. So you must enter the total amount of gross receipts you've collected. So let's say you've sold motor vehicle parts that totaled $1,494 for that month. So you would just enter $1,494 in the gross receipts box. And on the next screen, you'll see how much tax you must pay on the amount you entered. So this shows the state of New Mexico that you owe $113.92 on all those tires and car batteries that you sold for that month. Then you'll click the next button. And once again, you'll see what you owe and you'll click submit. And now, like I showed you just a few moments ago, you'll need to declare that everything is true and correct. And now you'll be able to go to the bottom of the screen and you can either make an e-payment or you can mail a paper check. So let's go ahead and choose the e-payment option, and you can easily pay with credit card or e-check. I want you to be aware, if you are paying any tax that you owe to the state and you're using a credit card, you will have to pay a small additional fee to cover the state's credit card processing fee. So then on this screen, it says you'll need a valid credit card if you're paying that method. Then you'll enter all of your payment information. You'll enter your billing address and then submit. And finally, you'll enter your credit card number and all the information on your credit card. And then you will see a confirmation that states it can take 1 business day to post to your account, so you can close that window. Then you'll see a payment confirmation that you can easily print for your records. And by doing this online, you will be able to print up that confirmation receipt every time to prove that you have actually paid any type of taxes that you owe to the state, any type of gross receipts that you paid to the state. It will be proven. And I think you're going to realize once you've done this a couple of times, it is really, really easy. I want you to be aware, we posted a great training video produced by New Mexico TRD that shows you every single step of the gross receipts filing process. It's a little bit more in depth, so you can go to newmexicodealer.com, scroll down to where it says New Mexico Dealer Forms, and you can scroll down and see those great videos created by TRD that shows you gross receipts tax reports extensively. If you do have any questions, I want to give you that phone number again, 505-827-0700. Or you can go straight to the TAP website. If you need to review any of this information, it's pretty simple. Go to newmexicodealer.com, click on the videos link page, and you can scroll down to the video that talks about motor vehicle excise tax and gross receipts tax reports.